semis.
Out after him, another finalist from Chamonix, Alberto Gines Lopez, and then it would be Shuta Tanaka, Now Monchois, Domen Skofitz, Roman de Grange, Sasha Lehmann, Hannes Puman, Alex Megos, and Stefano Gisolfi. So a pretty big hitting final 10 over on the men's side. Women's route still being cleaned.
Climbers shuffling across that yellow volume really nicely now. Sean McCall following Sean Bailey's technique through there. Looked really, really good, really clean, really fast. I think some of the climbers who really sort of paused through there and didn't look comfortable on the right foot are the ones who struggled on it. Sort of speed across the volume seems to be a factor, plus where you hold it. Sean just kind of pinching it on the right, on the angle change of the volume rather than at the back of it. That's classic style of Sean, so fast, really snappy, good to watch. Just reading this awkward sequence with the right heel. This is what we saw from Sean Bailey as well, just trying to figure out what to do with this next method. Sean really thinking here, seems to be a little bit confused as to what's what. Just trying to find the right body position for it. Resets now fires up with the left hand, has to use a really powerful method to get out of that kind of little lower crux section.
And again, misses that handhold out. As I say, we've got a route map here and it is marked as a handhold, although most climbers seem to have pretty much ignored it.
I think that's sort of how the route sets have to mark, really, because yeah, it's sort of logically there in the sequence, so if they didn't mark it, the judges have a bit of work to do to renumber the route. But Sean had a bit of a struggle in the bottom there, but seems to have dropped another gear now and kind of starting to accelerate up.
Crowd really coming to life. Eloise Dumont coming out onto the stage. Crowd pretty sizable here in Briancon. They've got another night's entertainment coming up tomorrow. Got lead finals live for you from here in the Parc des Sports. And Sean had a strap on his hands there. Did well to stay on.
Looking really pumped here, Sean. He needs to get this lower clip. Did really well on that lower pinch. Clips right down by his left foot now. Interestingly, what is he going to do now? Because this clip is so low. Judges will deem it not possible to clip. He needs to watch his right foot against the bolt there as well. Interesting to see if the judges can see that.
It's not actually clipped there. Sean McCauley's not got that clip done.
On the stage that fast, but to be called down off the route, there must have been the a heart in the mouth moment there for Sean. Hopefully he can forget that and just focus on the task in hand, and especially this bottom move, because we've seen a few climbers struggle on this bit. Oh, nicely across that wooden triangle, the yellow triangle there, really cruised across it like it was a different hole to what we saw earlier on.
Sean's got through this section really as efficiently as anyone yet.
Yeah, let's hope he can keep this clean, efficient method up through this next 45-degree midsection on the route.
Women's route being clean, by the way, might catch the occasional glimpse of our route setting team.
Sean's just gone up with the right hand there. He's going to have to match it if he wants that to work. He does drop back down.
Yeah, he figured that out pretty quickly.
Yeah, we've seen that with a couple of climbers. It's a really tricky little sequence here. Going up with your left hand just feels all wrong because your left hand is the better of the two. Looks like he's going to try and match it. Desperate match there for Sean. You can see how bad the hold is. A little foothold next to it. Pumps up with the right hand, gets the first jib on there, and then does go again to the correct one.
Yeah, I guess it's there primarily as a foothold or to create that heel hook there, but it's still a surprising number of climbers pretty much ignoring that jib.
Yeah, I think it depends how good you're feeling in that sequence. If you're really feeling fresh, you just go straight to the one with the massive tick marks on it and try and effectively skip a move. But yeah, a lot of climbers tend to use intermediates and some prefer not to. It is marked as a scoring hold, so if you don't use it and you do miss the next hold, you potentially lose out on a score.
This is definitely one of the more efficient ascents we've seen in this men's route.
Not opting to rest there at all. Punches up with the left hand. We've seen climbers go both left and right hand to that hold.
Starting to look tired now, Sean Bailey. The elbows were just coming out there as he was matching that kind of pinch crimp thing. He will. Oh, he did well to hang on to that as the right foot popped. He will get a slight change, and there is a tiny rest to be had here. Potentially, will he choose to use it? I think he might just push straight through. He is doing. He's up onto the tiny crimps now. Could we see a new high point? He's matched Hiroto so far. Hiroto went for this.
Well, that point, and a really good fight.
Yeah, fantastic effort. As I say, when she pulled onto the head wall, for me, she looked the calmest of anyone who's got there. Got that kind of Egyptian position for the chalk up as she pulled onto the head wall and looked so solid. So Janja Garnbret had the, a disastrous result. 9th place. Can you imagine only coming 9th in a World Cup? I mean,
it's most people's dream to get in the top 10.
I know. Amazing to say it. This is that was Janja's worst ever result in a lead World Cup. The streak, I suppose, had to end one day of making every lead final of every World Cup you've ever entered, and it did end last week for Janja. She's never really been put in this position before leading, of having to bounce back from a bad result. How will she cope with it? If you ever wonder if Janja Garnbret gets bored of winning or has somehow lost the fire, you only needed to take a look at her last Saturday afternoon in the Place du Mont Blanc de Chamonix to know exactly what it means to her. She does not take well to not making the final, I think it'd be fair to say. Would be the most polite way I could describe her. If looks could kill, she'd have massacred everyone in the square that afternoon. She was not happy, and she's got a chance to make amends here in Briancon, another venue where she's won. She's got some really unexpected competition though here, mainly from Chaeyoun, but also Natsuki Tani, who Mike and I mentioned in our Welcome to the Weekend chat, which you can see on the IFSC Facebook page, went really well and out-qualified Janja.
Yeah, she did actually have to try a little bit on that sequence there. It's just it's a really nice little traverse section, 4 or 5 moves, just asking a few questions lower down on the route of the athletes. Janja just opting for the right hand wrap method on that volume before dropping into the edge there. You can see why there's been a couple of route reading errors on that. So Julie Chanaudy, it's just a slightly unconventional sequence where you have to get into the volume effectively with the wrong hand and then flip it all around. Janja's gone nicely into the right hand underside and planting the left hand on the little jib that you can't quite see from that angle on the underside. Takes a short rest before questing into this next section then.
Yeah, crowd getting right behind Janja. As I say, it's a really unfamiliar position. Normally she's under pressure because she's trying to break some record or achieve something that no one's ever achieved before. This time she's bouncing back from a bad result and looks like she's getting a bit of a pump on actually. We've seen a lot of climbers get to that undercling match and suddenly look a bit tired, and Janja was one of them.
Yeah, some people saying Janja's just not quite in the shape that she has been on previous years on the routes. Understandably, after such a massive bouldering season, not too much time to convert into lead mode. But yeah, let's see what she's got. This is a real test of pure stamina here. We've not really seen her tested in this way yet this season. So the 3rd lead World Cup, a route that's just pure endurance. Let's see if Janja has some.
Yeah, by my calculation, Mike, she's still a couple of moves short of where she'd need to be, but to get into the final, she'd need to get the higher hold on that white volume above her and then move off it. So I believe that if she can get the next hole and then make a move from it and get a plus from it, it should be enough for the final. Yeah, that will be enough for the final, I'm pretty sure of it. So Janja makes amends for 9th place in Chamonix last week. Still, let's keep all things in perspective, in her entire career has never finished outside the top 10 in any World Cup in either lead or boulder, but still it was a bad result, and she'll have a chance to put it right in Briancon. Quickly shakes out, you can tell she is definitely pumped. How much has she got left here? Janja Garnbret, the crowd getting right behind her. They know they're watching the greatest female competition climber of all time, but she's got her work cut out here. Again, shaking out, pausing for quite a while. No issues at all on time. 1:35 left on the clock, so she won't need to worry about timing out. She can climb as slowly as she wants, rest as much as she wants. Gets a pinch, you can see her again flicking out that left hand. This is a tough move up to the dish where we lost Ashima earlier on. She sticks it. The top beckons, the crowd really cheering now. Janja Garnbret lining it up for the top and gets a hand there, but can't quite stick it. You're on from Spain, here in Briancon, and a very strong team. Jan's been a frequent chief himself.
Yeah, he'll be featuring on the World Championships team as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the route setting teams now we find are so strong that the chief is, ultimately it comes down to them, but really it could be anyone. Yeah, it's very much a democracy, I think, in most teams these days.
Exactly. I think they switch who's the chief depending on how the other one's feeling during the day.
Who fancies doing the interviews, yeah. Jan taking one for the team and coming on the stream, both in the semi-finals and this evening. So Hidemasa Nishida is underway. 2 fourth places to round out the 2018 season, but then missed the finals in Villars and missed the finals in Chamonix. And here he is in Briancon. Mike, can't help getting slightly nervous seeing this. We had a very tricky section on the men's route. 9 or 10 moves up yesterday across a slopey triangular volume, not dissimilar from that one.
Yeah, it's possibly the same volume actually, just moved around a little bit on the wall, but yeah, this one I think the routes have just changed up the style a little bit on the men's competition from last night. It's slightly less kind of low percentage moves on occasions, a bit more sequency and a bit more technique, as they like to describe in French, a bit more technical, and so this is actually one of the really interesting sequences here, getting that crimp with your left hand, crossing under with your right and then rolling through. So it is possible the other way around, having the holds around the other way, but this is the way that the route says wanted to do it. So Hidemasa actually looks like he's reading this bottom sequence really nicely.
Yeah, already looks physical though. He had a tricky move up to the first of those pink and black triangular volumes.
Yeah, those two quick draws actually really close to each other, which I think we potentially, if you're not completely comfortable in that situation, you're going to find a couple of kind of long draws just kind of getting wrapped in your body a little bit. As we're seeing there, he's just got his leg, kind of just got to work it around the rope a little bit there as well.
Suddenly the crowd come to life. 2 minutes of his time elapsed. He's setting a pretty good pace. He's on the 45-degree overhanging section of this Briancon wall. It's a similar profile to the wall in Chamonix. Plumb vertical at the start, begins to kick back to about 10 degrees overhanging, and then a long section at 45, and then kicks back again to 10 degrees overhanging at the top.
Yeah, this is one of the first sort of high-risk moves here. We've got a long right foot out quite far out to the right, which he has just seen. Kind of similar to that move we were talking about on the men's semi-final, punching up to a blocked crimp. Gets it done nicely though and drops into that left toe hook.
Hidemasa Nishida going well here. He's got 6 minutes as ever on a lead route and over 3 of it remaining. See just how hard he's having to work though. No moves have been gimmies and there haven't really been any proper rests so far. Big move up. The right hand, all the weight going through your shoulder, and that does not look a comfortable clipping position. Luckily he managed to get it done with only a very small fumble. Crowd really coming alive now. They know this is a really good effort from Hidemasa Nishida. Could he claim his first World Cup podium after the semi-finals last night?
Look at the way he's climbing, Charlie. Just all of a sudden just dropped into another gear all of a sudden there. He was just cruising, then all of a sudden he just sped through those next 2 or 3 moves. I think he's just realised that he's really high up in a final route here in a lead World Cup, and just all of a sudden just started motoring.
Oh, again, goes up full conviction. He hasn't got much choice on that kind of move. And that's not a great rest, but he's managing to get his feet in play, get some weight off his arms, but it takes only the briefest of pauses and then gets on his way again. He's pulling onto the head wall now, Hinamasa Nishida. Choosing to do the clip from quite low down. It'll be quite near the top of his reach, but he does it nicely. Tiny crimp now out on the right, and he's got to head right again around this triangular volume and onto the next one, almost the furthest right volume on the whole of the wall. Now the elbows are coming out. He needs to try and get a rest if he can. Commits again outright. Silhouetted against the Briancon Knight. Clever use of the feet. And again, he's able to get a bit of the weight off his arms. Powering through the top section. You can see how tired he is, but he just will not give up. There's only one more quick draw to clip, and then he'll be at the top. Needs to keep the feet engaged. He actually just briefly came off the wall, but he did well to keep him in play. Hinamasa Nishida now got another clip to do. Jumped out left. And that is a brilliant...
Jae Yoon can stick this top jump or not.
Yeah, I mean, it seems crazy to say it when you think what's to come before she gets there, but I have to agree. I think it could well come down to that jump.
Yeah, 41 moves to get to that point. 41 pretty hard moves as well, but she's looked on fine form and really is everything that she seems to be on the wall.
Can she latch that 40-second hold? It's crazy to think that Yanya could have scored a 42 rather than the top if she'd binned it off the top and she couldn't clip the quick draw. I don't remember seeing anyone. I mean, I've seen people kind of struggle to get the clip or whatever, fumble it a bit, but she was just so tired.
Well, you can see when she actually hit that top hold, she instantly chucked both heels up there. And
just to get the weight off.
There's an option for a left foot lower down, but instantly chuck the feet up there and just get something off the arms as fast as possible.
Here goes Cheon. Who would have thought we would be watching this with her leading the overall standings for the season after 2 events? But here she is, the prodigy from South Korea. So the jump coming up now. Is she actually going to take a bit of a pause before she goes for it? No. There she goes.
It's actually a nice little move there set by the route setters.
I was about to say the same thing. Yeah, it's making the climbers think and making them a tiny bit nervous, but they've all got it done. Now she's heading out across to the rest.
Yeah, slightly different cross-through method there, but same result.
It's tricky. You kind of wonder what it must be like for Yanya to watch this. She's on stage. We can see her from here. She's done everything she can do, but that one move on one of the qualifying routes and one move in the semi-final could come back to cost her.
Couldn't be closer than how this one is set up. It's hard for us to know quite what Jae Yoon is like on these bouldering moves. If it comes down to this top move, we've not seen her in the bouldering season at all, so it's a little bit unknown. Heart in your mouth stuff here to finish in Briancon.
Yeah, we don't need to look at our route map. There's only one result that can take the win away, and that is a top from her. Won't matter about time, as long as she gets it done within the 6 minutes, a top will win the competition for her. She's looking so smooth so far.
Yeah, absolutely impeccable technique. Every time her foot goes to a hold, it lands it perfectly. Route reading is perfect. Every motion so far has been perfect.
Reminiscent, I might add, of her compatriot Jane Kim in that style. Just immaculate. This is where it'll really begin to kick in though. Crowd making an awful lot of noise here for Cheon-soo. They know they're watching a superstar. I was about to say a superstar of the future, but she's very much here and now. She's onto the head wall. It is just hard move after hard move. We've seen 2 climbers so far reach the top hold. One of them, Janja Garnbret, hung on to it. Natsuki Tani couldn't get close enough. Cheon Seo, she's got loads of time remaining. 2 minutes 10 left on the clock. It's time to get pumped, but it looks like she's got enough energy. Just needs to keep on motoring. Goes out to that right pinch. Awkward little foot swap, but there's another little foothold waiting for the right foot out there that she's now stood on. The elbows are out. She's definitely getting pumped, but she is going to have an opportunity for this top hold. Here goes Cheon Seo. This one for the win. She latches it, gets a heel hook on, needs to clip the rope as we had with Janja. Once she's done that, that will be 1 second place and 2 World Cup wins in our Tour of the Alps in July. Cheon Seo, 2-time